This video is for you if you've ever thought, I just don't know if I'm doing it right, and then experience the confusion or the anxiety when you go to practice on your own. Hello, I am Kim from thatsweetraw.com. Thank you so much for being here. Let's help you feel more sure and optimistic in the practice room. So, does this situation sound familiar? You're in a lesson and you're given specific techniques or exercises to do, and you notice a positive difference. You're like, yes, that's sounding better, that is feeling better, that's what I was wanting. But then when you get back home, you're not really sure if you are doing it right. And so then you start to feel confused and anxious, and sometimes you might worry that if you're doing it wrong, you will injure yourself, or you're just instilling more bad habits. We need to make sure that you are supported in not going down that spiral. And we also don't want you to feel like you are dependent on your vocal coach as a crutch. So it is incredibly valuable to get feedback from a teacher as to what to work on, and to then reiterate to you that yes, you've got it, you've figured it out, and the way that you're approaching it now is getting the result that they were after, which is ultimately the result that you were after. But the most valuable thing that a singing coach can do is to teach you to discern between the new way and your old habits, so that you then catch it in the moment when you're practicing. You know exactly what it is linked to, and therefore you have the confidence to know how to pivot, to know how to correct it. So this is what I never want you to leave a lesson without. In my lessons with singers, I do this by getting them to do a before and after, and I will ask them very specific questions. So how do the two ways of doing it feel different? How does the old default way that you were singing it feel different from the new approach that we've got? What are the sensations that you feel when you do the default, you do the old habits, that can act as an alert? Something doesn't feel right. What are those sensations? So it could be that you feel the resonance in a different way. It could be in a different part of your mouth or your face or your chest. It could be that a tension that you feel in the old way disappears in the new way. That's hopefully what the approach is doing. So you want to start to tap into what are the feeling differences, so that when you veer off, and you're going to veer off because that's the strong neural pathways as your old habit, you can actually feel that, you can sense that, and then remind yourself to go back to the new way. The next one is, how do they sound different? So are there any sounds you're aware of when you go back to those old habits that aren't present when you do it in the new way? So the sound difference could be that there is a pinched sound in the old way that you did it. It could be that it sounds kind of swallowed or froggy, or there's a breathy quality in it that isn't in the new way because you're aiming for more clarity. So those are the things that could be what you listen out for. And you might like to record yourself if you're finding it challenging to tune into the difference, if you're finding it challenging to hear the difference. Or ask your teacher to share what differences they hear. Sometimes when a teacher highlights something, you can then tune your ear into it a little bit more easily. And then, is there anything that you see as different? So using a mirror, especially when working with things like vowel modification or jaw position, alignment things, tongue tension, it can be really helpful to see what is going on. So do you do something different visually, particularly with your face or your posture in the old way, that you are then actually wanting to correct in the new way? So working with a mirror can be really supportive with that if you feel comfortable enough. The next one is actually about how you think, how you are creating these different sounds. So usually when we have a default old way, we're not thinking about too much. But then when we're doing something different, we change our focus, we change what we're thinking about. So the question is, do you have to change the way that you think about creating the sound? And what phrases or cues help you shift to that new way? And if you're a more kinesthetic learner, you might also have movements that support you with this. So these questions really start to build and develop your awareness around the sounds, the sensations, the visuals, and the thoughts that separate the new way, the new habits that you're trying to teach your body to do, and your default, which is probably less efficient or less resonant, less free, less appealing to your ear, whatever it is. But without this clarity, it can be very easy to slip into a confusion hole, which means that you have more anxiety around whether you're doing it right. And ultimately, then you just don't practice as often and don't get the transformation in your voice that you are working towards. So I have laid out all of these questions underneath this video. You can copy and paste them. You can write them down and put them somewhere. Take them into your next lesson. I hope that they're incredibly supportive for you. And if you love the way that I teach and are interested in working with me, I do one-on-one lessons. So you can head to my website to book. I will put the link below. I would absolutely love to meet you and help you feel more confident in the practice room, in auditions, on stage, in the recording studio, wherever it is that you sing, in the shower even. Thank you for watching. If this video was enlightening to you, please give it a like or comment, share your feedback with me, and make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And the very best thing that you can do to support my work is to share it with other singers. Share the love. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a brilliant week, and I hope this supports you in your next practice session.